Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now imagine standing in front of a child. She looks at you with eyes full of hope, but also fear. This is you, your inner child, waiting to be seen, waiting for words that never came. How many years have you carried this silent pain? The weight of guilt, fear, the feeling of never being enough. Maybe you learned to hide it from the world, to smile even when your soul was crying for help. But what if I told you that now is your chance to change this story, to heal the wounds that still echo in your adult life? Carl Jung once said that true healing begins when we look within, when we acknowledge the parts of ourselves that were silenced, forgotten. And today I want to guide you through a powerful transformation, a crucial step toward emotional healing, because when you heal your inner child, you free your true essence. Today, you will write a letter to her. Not just any letter, but the one message that could change your life. The words your inner child has always needed to hear, and that only you can give her. Are you ready to take this step? Then stay with me until the end, because this might be the most important conversation of your life. Every wound has a story, and deep inside you, there is a part of you still carrying the echoes of a past that was never healed. Your inner child, the version of you that once felt unseen, unheard, and perhaps unworthy of love. Maybe you were told to be strong. Maybe you learned that your emotions were too much, that you had to hide your true self to be accepted. Over time, you built walls, you created masks, and without even realizing it, you started seeking outside what you've always carried within. Love, validation, a sense of belonging. Carl Jung believed that healing is not about becoming someone new, but about reclaiming the parts of ourselves that we abandoned along the way. Your inner child is not gone. She is still there, waiting for you to acknowledge her, to comfort her, to finally tell her the words she needed to hear. This is where your journey to self-discovery and self-love begins. Not by chasing perfection, but by embracing your most authentic self, by listening to the voice within, the one you silenced for so long. Today we are going to take a step toward that healing. Together, we will write a letter to your inner child, a message that could change everything, a letter that will not only free her but also free you. Because healing your inner child isn't just about the past, it's about transforming your present and rewriting your future. If this message resonates with you, don't go through this journey alone. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that helps you heal, grow, and reconnect with your true self. Let's walk this path together. Your inner child is more than just a memory of who you once were. She is the part of you that holds your earliest experiences, the joys, the fears, the wounds that shaped the way you see yourself and the world. She carries the unspoken emotions, the unmet needs, the silent questions you were too young to put into words. And even now as an adult, she still influences your thoughts, behaviors, and relationships in ways you may not even realize. Think about the moments when you feel triggered, when a simple comment or rejection stirs something deep within you. That reaction isn't coming from your present self. It's the voice of your inner child, still seeking the safety, love, and validation she once longed for. Carl Jung described this as individuation, the journey of integrating the hidden parts of ourselves into conscious awareness. It's not about erasing the past, but understanding it so it no longer unconsciously controls us. From the moment we are born, our minds are shaped by the experiences around us. The way we were treated, the words spoken to us, the love we received or didn't receive became the foundation of how we see ourselves. If a child is constantly told that she is too much or not enough, she internalizes those words as truth. If she learns that love must be earned, she may grow up believing she has to prove her worth to be accepted. These beliefs don't stay in childhood. They become the invisible script that dictates our self-worth, our choices, and the way we allow others to treat us. But here's the truth. You are not that child anymore. You are no longer powerless, no longer dependent on the approval or validation of those who once failed to see your worth. Yet, without realizing it, you may still be living according to the fears and insecurities of that younger version of yourself. This is why reconnecting with your inner child is so crucial. It allows you to rewrite the narrative, to give yourself now what you needed then. Healing your inner child doesn't mean ignoring the past. It means acknowledging the pain, understanding its impact, and choosing a new way forward. It requires compassion, the kind of compassion you would give to any child who has been hurt. Imagine looking at a younger version of yourself. Would you criticize her for feeling lost, for struggling with fear, for wanting to be loved? No. You would hold her, reassure her, remind her that she is enough, and that is exactly what you need to do for yourself now. Jung spoke about the shadow self, the hidden parts of us that we suppress out of fear or shame. Many of us, without realizing it, have placed our inner child in that shadow, ignoring her, silencing her pain, pretending the past doesn't matter. But suppressing emotions doesn't heal them. The wounds remain beneath the surface, manifesting in anxiety, self-doubt, and patterns of self-sabotage. The only way to free yourself from this cycle is to bring that shadow into the light, to listen to the parts of yourself you once ignored. So how do you begin? First, acknowledge her presence. Instead of pushing away emotions when they arise, pause. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? What does my inner child need right now? Start noticing the patterns in your life, the fears that hold you back, the moments that trigger deep sadness or anger. Every emotional reaction is a doorway, leading you back to a part of yourself that needs healing. Then you give her a voice. Writing a letter is one of the most powerful ways to connect with your inner child. It allows you to express the words that were never said, to offer the reassurance and love that was missing. This isn't about rewriting history. It's about giving yourself now what you once needed. It's about shifting the way you see yourself, replacing the old wounds with new truths. Most importantly, you choose to show up for her every day. Healing isn't a one-time event. It's a relationship you build with yourself. It's learning to listen with kindness, to replace self-criticism with self-compassion, to see your worth. Not because of what you achieve or how others perceive you, but simply because you exist. Your inner child is still within you, not as a weakness but as a reminder of your deepest truth. She doesn't need to be fixed. She doesn't need to be silenced. She simply needs to be seen, heard, loved, and you are the only one who can give her that. Because healing doesn't come from changing the past. It comes from transforming the way you carry it within you. There's a part of you that has been waiting for years, perhaps decades, to be acknowledged. She exists in the moments when fear creeps in, when you hesitate to speak up, when you seek approval without even realizing it. This part of you isn't gone. She's been there all along, hidden beneath layers of experiences, conditioned responses and beliefs you absorbed when you were too young to question them. She is your inner child, and she is still influencing your present reality. Much of what we struggle with as adults, self-doubt, the fear of rejection, the need to prove ourselves, originates from wounds formed in childhood. When we are young, our brains are wired to seek safety and belonging. We depend entirely on those around us to meet our emotional and physical needs. If at any point we felt abandoned, criticized, or unworthy, those experiences left an imprint. Even if we don't consciously remember them, they shape our perception of the world. Imagine a child who grows up constantly seeking attention, but rarely receiving genuine validation. She learns that to be loved, she must achieve something. Be the best student, the quietest child, the most obedient daughter. Over time, this belief becomes part of her identity. She stops asking, "Am I loved?" and starts believing, "I am only worthy if I prove myself." Now, as an adult, she may find herself constantly striving for perfection, terrified of failure, and exhausted by the endless pursuit of external validation. The people around her might not see it, but inside she is still that child, waiting for someone to tell her she is enough. Carl Jung spoke about the unconscious forces that drive human behavior. He believed that much of what we struggle with in adulthood is rooted in aspects of ourselves that we have not yet integrated. This is why healing the inner child is such a transformative process. It allows us to stop repeating patterns we don't even realize we are trapped in. It gives us the opportunity to step out of old cycles and begin making conscious choices that align with who we truly are. One of the ways we reconnect with the inner child is by recognizing the moments when she is speaking through us. When you feel deeply hurt by criticism, when you overreact to something small, when you feel an overwhelming sense of loneliness, these are often signs that a past wound is resurfacing. The emotions may feel disproportionate to the situation, but that's because they don't belong to the present version of you. They belong to the child inside you, who is still carrying the emotions she wasn't able to process when they first arose. This is where self-awareness becomes crucial. Healing isn't about erasing emotions, it's about understanding them. The next time you find yourself overwhelmed by sadness, insecurity, or anger, pause and ask yourself, who inside me is feeling this? Instead of pushing the feeling away, sit with it. Imagine your younger self experiencing that same emotion. What does she need to hear? What comfort does she need? In doing this, you begin to rewire the patterns that have dictated your life for so long. You stop reacting from a place of unhealed pain and start responding from a place of awareness. Many people spend their lives searching for something external to fill an internal void. They believe that if they find the right partner, the perfect career, or financial success, they will finally feel whole. But nothing outside of you can heal what is unresolved within you. The love, security, and validation your inner child seeks will not be found in another person. It must come from you. Until you recognize this, you will continue searching for completion in places that can never provide it. One of the most powerful exercises in inner child work is reparenting yourself. This means giving yourself now what you lacked then. It means speaking to yourself with kindness, setting boundaries that protect your well-being, and allowing yourself to experience joy without guilt. It means reminding yourself that you no longer need to prove your worth, because your worth was never conditional to begin with. This journey is not about blame. It's not about looking at the past and dwelling on what should have been different. It's about taking responsibility for how you move forward. Your childhood experiences may not have been your choice, but your healing is. Every time you choose to speak to yourself with compassion instead of criticism, every time you choose to comfort yourself instead of seeking validation elsewhere, you are rewriting your story. The process of healing your inner child doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous practice of listening, understanding, and showing up for yourself in ways no one else can. But with every step you take, you begin to break free from the patterns that have kept you stuck. You begin to live from a place of wholeness rather than lack. And most importantly, you begin to embrace the truth that has always been there. You were always enough. There is a moment in life when you realize that the person you have been searching for, the one who will finally give you the love, safety, and understanding you always needed, has been you all along. This realization is both liberating and terrifying, because it means that the healing you long for is not something you will find outside of yourself. It is something you must choose to give yourself over and over again. Your inner child has spent years waiting for this moment. She has been hidden beneath layers of survival mechanisms, buried under years of trying to fit in, to be accepted, to prove her worth. But no matter how much time has passed, she has never left you. She exists in the way you hesitate before speaking your truth, in the way you seek validation from people who cannot give it, in the way you sometimes feel like you are still waiting for permission to be yourself. The journey of reconnecting with her is not just about understanding your past. It is about reshaping your future. It is about reclaiming the parts of you that were once silenced, the parts that were told they were too much, the dreams that were abandoned out of fear, the emotions that were suppressed because they were inconvenient for others. Carl Jung spoke of the importance of integrating the unconscious mind, the hidden aspects of ourselves that we have not yet acknowledged. When you deny your inner child, you are denying a part of yourself. You are leaving her frozen in time, trapped in the pain she once felt, unable to move forward. But when you choose to meet her with love and compassion, you unlock something powerful, the ability to rewrite your own narrative. Think about the beliefs you hold about yourself, the quiet, unspoken thoughts that shape your actions. Do you believe you are worthy just as you are? Or do you feel like you have to earn your value, that you must achieve something before you are enough? These beliefs were not born in adulthood. They were planted long ago, in moments when you felt unseen or unheard, when love seemed conditional, when the people around you, knowingly or not, shaped your perception of yourself. But here is what they never told you. You were never broken. There was never anything wrong with you. The pain you carry is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a reminder of what was missing. And now, you have the power to fill those spaces, to offer yourself the kindness you once craved, to stop looking for someone to complete you, and recognize that you were whole all along. One of the most profound shifts happens when you start treating yourself the way you would treat a child you love. Imagine speaking to a little girl who is hurting. Would you criticize her? Would you tell her she is not good enough? Of course not. You would hold her. You would reassure her. You would remind her that she is safe. This is exactly what you must learn to do for yourself. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is not indulgence. It is the foundation of true healing. Every time you choose to be gentle with yourself instead of harsh, every time you speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, you are rewriting the story your inner child has been carrying for years. You are teaching her that she is loved, not because of what she does, but because of who she is. Healing is not a straight path. There will be moments when old fears resurface, when the past feels too heavy, when you question whether you are making progress at all. That is part of the process. It does not mean you are failing, it means you are growing. The difference now is that you are no longer navigating this journey alone, because every time you choose yourself, every time you listen to your needs instead of ignoring them, you are proving to your inner child that she is not forgotten. Many people believe that healing means forgetting the past, but that is not true. Healing means learning to hold your past with love instead of pain. It means looking at the experiences that shaped you and saying, I see you, I honor you, but you no longer define me. It means stepping into your power, not despite your past, but because of it. Your inner child does not need perfection. She does not need you to have all the answers. She only needs you to show up, to be present, to remind her again and again that she is safe now, that she is loved now, that she no longer has to carry the burdens of yesterday. And when you do this, when you finally embrace her instead of running from her, you will feel something shift. The weight you have been carrying will begin to lighten. The fear that once held you back will start to lose its grip. And for the first time in a long time, you will feel free, because you will no longer be waiting for someone else to save you. You will have saved yourself. Healing is not about erasing the past. It is about learning to carry it differently. Your inner child is not something to fix. She is a part of you to embrace, to nurture, to protect. She has been waiting, not for someone else to save her, but for you to finally see her. For years you may have believed that happiness, love, and fulfillment were things you had to chase. That if you worked harder, proved yourself more, became someone else, then finally you would feel whole. But the truth is, nothing outside of you was ever the answer. The peace you seek has always been within you, hidden beneath layers of self-doubt, old wounds and conditioned beliefs that were never truly yours. Imagine for a moment what life would feel like if you no longer had to prove yourself, if you no longer sought love from those who could never give it, if you no longer carried the weight of past expectations. That freedom is not something distant. It is a choice you can make starting now. You do not have to carry the same patterns forever. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are allowed to stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are enough and start believing it for yourself. Carl Jung taught that the integration of our hidden selves is the key to becoming whole. This journey is not about becoming someone new, but about remembering who you were before the world convinced you to be someone else. When you embrace your inner child, you embrace the most authentic version of yourself. So take this moment, close your eyes, picture her, tell her everything she has been longing to hear, because the words you speak to her now will shape the way you see yourself tomorrow. This is your invitation to step into your own power, to give yourself the love you have always deserved, to finally stand in the truth of who you are. And if this message resonated with you, if you know someone who needs to hear these words, share this video. Leave a comment below. What would you say to your inner child? And if you haven't yet, subscribe and join this journey of healing and transformation. Because when you heal, you don't just change your own life. You become the light that helps others do the same.